If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. There's a strange silence surrounding Nick Chubb, a silence that says more than words ever could. The Cleveland Browns aren't making any loud proclamations. No big announcements. No declarations of loyalty or future intent. Just quiet. And in the NFL, that kind of quiet can be deafening. But don't mistake that silence for surrender. Because while the Browns sit in limbo, Nick Chubb has decided to speak. Not with press conferences or sit-down interviews, but with a message aimed straight at anyone who doubts him. A promise, in fact. One that cuts through the uncertainty like a knife. They've already wrote my ending when I'm just getting started. 8 simple words. But in them, the heart of a warrior who refuses to be counted out. Let's rewind. Nick Chubb didn't just arrive in the NFL. He exploded onto the scene, a second-round pick with a first-round heart, toughness, and drive. Drafted 35th overall in 2018, the Georgia product was never flashy with words. He let his legs do the talking. Nearly 1,000 yards in his rookie year. Then over 1,000 in 4 straight seasons. He bulldozed defenses. He outpaced expectations. He became a cornerstone of the Cleveland Browns, a team that leaned on his bruising running style, his quiet leadership, and his relentless work ethic. But in football, nothing is permanent. Not even the good things. 2 games into the 2023 season, everything changed. A devastating leg injury silenced the crowd, and for the first time in years, silenced Chubb. A broken foot followed in 2024. 2 major injuries. 2 seasons cut short. 2 harsh reminders that in the NFL, time waits for no one. And now, at 29 years old, Chubb is a free agent. Not long ago, the idea of him testing the market would have seemed absurd. But today he's out there, available, and somehow, shockingly, still unsigned. Not because fans don't believe in him, not because he's forgotten in Cleveland, but because the league, right now, seems hesitant to bet on him. Maybe it's the injury history. Maybe it's his age. Maybe it's the unfortunate truth about how running backs are valued in this era of football. Whatever the reason, Chubb has quietly slipped through the cracks of free agency. And the longer he remains on the open market, the louder the whispers grow. The doubts. The questions. Is he done? Can he ever be the same? And yet, even as the Browns remain non-committal, maybe keeping the door slightly ajar but refusing to make any promises, Nick Chubb is making one of his own. To every critic, to every doubter, to every front office that's moved on, he's promising that the end of the story isn't here. Not yet. Not even close. Fresh start? That's exactly what he's hunting. Cleveland? Maybe. There have been murmurs, small, hopeful ones, that a return isn't off the table. A 1-year deal. A chance to prove himself all over again. To run it back, not just literally, but metaphorically. Reclaim his place. Reignite the fire. Rebuild what was taken. Because if there's one thing Browns fans know, it's that Nick Chubb isn't like most backs. He's different. Built different. Wired different. And maybe, just maybe, a reunion is still possible. The front office might bring in a new back in this upcoming draft. Jerome Ford is already in the mix. That's the business. But even so, there's a sense that Cleveland might still carve out space for Chubb. A prove-it deal. A prove-them wrong deal. Still, the numbers from 2024 don't lie. Just 332 rushing yards. 3 touchdowns. A career-low 3.3 yards per carry. Not the kind of stats that command big money. Not in today's NFL. Not from a back approaching 30 with 2 major injuries in the rearview mirror. But if you think numbers tell the whole story, you haven't been paying attention to Nick Chubb's career. This isn't just about yards. It's about pride. It's about redemption. It's about reminding people what he's capable of when healthy. What he still has to give. And he is coming back. Somewhere. Somehow. Because that promise he made, that wasn't for show. That wasn't some vague motivational quote posted on social media. That was a declaration of war against every narrative that says he's finished. They've already wrote my ending. But endings aren't written in spring. Not for players like Chubb. Not for men who've carried entire offenses on their back. Not for a leader who never complained when the spotlight faded and the noise turned against him. The story isn't over. It's just getting interesting. Where will Nick Chubb land? Will Cleveland make the call before another team takes the leap of faith? Can he return to form and shock everyone once again? Those are the questions hanging in the air like storm clouds. And make no mistake, Nick Chubb is coming to answer them. With every carry, every broken tackle, every yard he fights for in silence, every snap will be personal. Every game will be a message. To those who gave up on him, he hasn't given up on himself. To those who think he's done, he's just getting started. The road back is long. The obstacles are real. But if there's one player who embodies resilience, it's Nick Chubb. And wherever he ends up, be it Cleveland or a new city, you better believe he's not just trying to play football. He's trying to finish the story his way. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Cleveland Browns fans woke up to shockwaves reverberating across the NFL landscape. According to sources close to the situation, star defensive end Myles Garrett has reportedly informed the Browns front office that he no longer wishes to play alongside quarterback Deshaun Watson. While no official statement has been released by Garrett himself, several league insiders have confirmed growing tension between the two former cornerstones of the franchise. The revelation comes just months after Garrett was crowned NFL Defensive Player of the Year, solidifying his place among the league's elite. While Watson continues to struggle both on and off the field, Garrett, known for his explosive athleticism and relentless pursuit of quarterbacks, has long been the heartbeat of Cleveland's defense. In 2024, he turned in another dominant season, notching 14 sacks for forced fumbles and a pair of AFC Defensive Player of the Week honors. But sources suggest that the strain of carrying a team whose offense consistently falters, largely due to Watson's erratic play and off-field baggage, has finally reached a boiling point. According to one insider, Garrett was overheard saying, "I'm done playing with him. I give everything to this team, he doesn't." The implications of such a declaration could ripple far beyond the Browns' locker room. Watson, once hailed as a generational quarterback talent, has seen his career veer off course amid legal controversy and declining performance. Since arriving in Cleveland on a record-breaking $230 million contract, he's played in fits and starts, literally. Injuries, including a re-ruptured Achilles in early 2025, have limited his availability, and when he has played, the results have been uninspiring. In 2024, Watson failed to eclipse 200 passing yards in any of his 5 starts, finishing with the league's worst total QBR and a dismal 1-6 record as starter. Meanwhile, the Browns' offense stumbled to a league-worst 253.9 yards per game, leaving the defense, and Garrett, to shoulder the burden week after week. Behind the scenes, frustrations have been simmering for months. While Garrett has taken on a leadership role in the locker room, setting the tone for a top-ranked defense, Watson's standing with teammates has reportedly eroded. "You can only lead by example for so long before the silence speaks louder," said one anonymous player. With Garrett now allegedly drawing a line in the sand, the Browns are faced with an impossible dilemma: side with the face of their franchise's defense, or continue their controversial and costly commitment to Watson. Either way, the fallout could define the team's trajectory for years to come. Myles Garrett and Deshaun Watson couldn't be more different in terms of personality and public image. Garrett, despite being one of the most feared pass rushers in the league, is often described by those around him as thoughtful, introspective, and disciplined. Off the field, he's a known lover of poetry, dinosaurs, and literature, interests that paint the picture of a man who values intellect as much as physical dominance. He's kept his public persona clean, and when controversy has come his way, such as the infamous helmet-swinging incident in 2019, he's owned up to his mistakes and worked to rebuild trust with fans and teammates alike. His commitment to personal growth has only added to the respect he commands inside the Browns' locker room. Watson, by contrast, has become one of the most polarizing figures in the NFL. On the field, he's capable of elite-level quarterback play, as seen in his early years with the Texans. But his off-field troubles have clouded nearly every conversation about him since 2021. More than 24 civil lawsuits alleging sexual misconduct deeply damaged his public reputation, and though some claims were settled, Watson has consistently denied wrongdoing. His demeanor in interviews often comes across as guarded and deflective, and the media scrutiny surrounding him hasn't helped to rebuild trust with the fans, or perhaps even with his own teammates. For many, including reportedly Garrett himself, it's not just about poor performance. It's about accountability, and whether Watson has truly taken ownership of the damage his actions caused. In team settings, Garrett has often been praised for leading by example, showing up early, working through injuries, and never calling out teammates in the press. He's become a foundational piece not just for the Browns' defense, but for the culture the organization has tried to build. His passion for the game is matched by a steady professionalism, and it's that very contrast, his serious, driven nature against Watson's ongoing turmoil, that may have led to the current fracture. When Garrett speaks, people listen. So if he's truly made the decision to draw a line, it likely reflects months of mounting frustration, not a heat-of-the-moment outburst. Meanwhile, Watson's personality has made it difficult for him to fully integrate into a team that prides itself on grit and brotherhood. Though some players have defended him, others have expressed quiet concern over his body language and leadership. Injuries aside, Watson's detachment from the team culture seems to have created a sense of isolation, something even more pronounced during the Browns' 2024 downward spiral. If Garrett, the team's emotional and vocal anchor, feels that Watson's presence is dragging the locker room down, that sentiment likely echoes the feelings of others who've remained silent. As the Browns organization scrambles to contain the fallout, they're not just managing egos. They're trying to preserve a team identity that now hangs in the balance. As Cleveland prepares for the 2025 season, the spotlight now shifts to the front office. Can the Browns mend the rift between two of their most high-profile players? Or will they be forced to choose sides in a rift that's quickly becoming unmanageable? With Watson's status for the entire 2025 season already in doubt due to injury, the timing of Garrett's reported ultimatum only adds to the storm clouds gathering over Berea. What began as a promising rebuild may now be on the brink of collapse, unless someone, somehow, can bring unity back to a team tearing at the seams. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!